What's going on, everybody? It is Monday, July 25th, and you're listening to the College Football Daily here on 24/7 Sports. I'm Nick Kosko, your host today, and I'm pleased to be joined by a very special guest, Coastal Carolina head coach Jamey Chadwell. Coach, first of all, thank you for joining me on today's program. It's a pleasure to talk to you. And Coastal Carolina, a lot of buzz about your program, especially over the last couple of seasons, 22-3 over the last 2 years. I got to say, you guys have built quite a powerhouse over there. And, I feel like you guys don't get talked about enough. What do you say to that?
Well, Nick, first of all, I appreciate you having me on. You know what? I sort of like it, to be honest with you. We've taken the mindset that, we've always got a chip on our shoulder, always something to prove. And we came out from nowhere. And you mentioned the success of the last couple of years. And I like for people to, whether it's doubting us or maybe not believe in us, I like have been in that position. I think that sort of is what our program is about, is trying to prove others wrong a little bit, and we've had success doing that. So why change it?
No doubt. So it's interesting, that fact that you guys have had so much success, and obviously you personally as a head coach have had so much success. Generally, when that happens, guys like you, they get calls from Power 5 conferences. You recently signed a contract extension. I was very fascinated by that because you wanted to stay at Coastal Carolina and continue to build this program. What was going through your mind when you said, you know what, I'm going to stay here instead rather than look for opportunities elsewhere?
Well, one, very few opportunities do you get where you have a chance to be part of a ground floor of an FBS program. And when I got here in 2017, we were part of the ground floor of trying to build, an FBS program and leave a legacy that and build a tradition at FBS. And that excites me. And that's something that, we sold a vision to the recruits that we were recruiting, that when we weren't very good and didn't have much going on, nobody knew who Coastal was. That's what it was about. And that still drives me today that we're building something that's special, that'll be our foundation that'll carry on this program for a long time. And then two, Myrtle Beach is a great place. Our administration cares about football. We're in the Sun Belt, which is an excellent football conference. And and I've been in the state of South Carolina a long time, and excited about where we're at, where we're going here. And it's you got good people, you got good support staff, and as I said, there's nothing wrong with being in Conway, Myrtle Beach either.
Yeah, I was going to say Myrtle Beach is quite the place to be and also to play college football. And before we get into the Sun Belt Conference a little bit, you mentioned building a tradition at Coastal Carolina. What were the steps you initially took to build this type of tradition? Because you see other schools that have long histories of football tradition. Coastal Carolina is still relatively new in that department. What steps have you taken recently?
Yeah, so we started in 2003, and our previous players, alumni, coaches, they did a fantastic job in helping us, get as close as we could to the pinnacle of FCS football. A bunch of championships, bunch of playoff appearances, number one in the country for a little while. So we had a lot of success there, but it was over a short amount of time. And as soon as we made that move to FBS, it was a hard jump. And really just getting young people to understand where we want to go and how we're going to do it without seeing the immediate results. Everybody wants to see immediate. And the main thing was laying out the vision of what we could be about and how we were going to do it, and the why behind what you do. I think young people want to know why are you doing something. And for us, it was the love of brother and being selfless and doing something for your teammate. You want his success more than you want your own. And that's how we really started it, is we were trying to build it. And then you get people to buy into that concept, and then you can start doing special things, and people start wondering how. Well, you're only 6 years into your FBS, and we're able to do that because the guys bought into something that was bigger than themselves.
So speaking of something that's bigger than themselves, and it has to do with actually the conference realignment talk that's been going on throughout the entire offseason, it seems like, in college football. Now, you guys are in the Sun Belt Conference. Now, what is your basic take? I want to get it on conference realignment in general first, and then two, how do you guys manage that, and knowing that you're still a young FBS program, but who knows, the future of college football could be the Power 2 or these super mega conferences. I mean, what's your general take on that aspect of where the sport is going?
Well, I guess it's inevitable, because we obviously know money drives it, and the opportunity to have as much money as you can and bring it in, and, and that's what's driving college football. Traditions and rivalries are going by the wayside because of that, which you're disappointed in, because those that love college football, you grew up on those things, right? But we're in a new day, and this is how it is. And so I think that's the direction that's going to go. It's going to continue to go. We'll see if there's any more realignment. My gut tells me there's going to be a little bit more before we're all said and done. But one thing that, we're appreciative here being in the Sun Belt is when we had our realignment last year, we got 4 like-minded institutions that fit in our footprint. All of us are in contiguous states. A lot of great football traditions here in the Sun Belt, great coaches. We've put out a lot of great players. And, over the last, few years, our Sun Belt has really grown. We arguably think we're, the best G5 or non-autonomy conference in the country. And I think that you can look at our teams and our record, our bowl success, our top 25 rankings that we've had, and make a good argument. So I think in realignment, I think the Sun Belt did a fantastic job. I think we brought together and have made a really strong conference.
It's interesting you mentioned that, because out of the group of 5 conferences, a lot of people want to talk about the American Athletic Conference, obviously with Cincinnati's success last year going to the playoffs. So I wanted to ask you, as you mentioned, you guys have like-minded individuals based off this latest realignment for the Sun Belt Conference. So what do you envision the future growth of this Sun Belt Conference is?
Well, I would say that we'll have a lot of people that want to be a part of the Sun Belt going forward. Whether we want to increase our conference members or not, that's obviously above my pay grade, right? But I think because of the type of institutions we have, our location, the sports in general, we have a lot of success in a lot of areas. I think there might be other institutions that want to be a part of that, because I think we're stable. But we'll see. Obviously, that's something that everybody, it's fun to talk about, but nobody knows what that crystal ball looks like.
So, Coach, I wanted to ask you about your guys on the field in 2022 for Coastal Carolina football. The schedule, you guys open up with Army. I actually recently talked to head coach Jeff Monken over there for the Army Black Knights, and I respect Army a lot. I'm sure everybody does, all those military institutions. It's a quality football program. So looking at your schedule this year in 2022, you start out with those guys before you get into other non-conference games, and then, of course, the Sun Belt Conference games. How does the schedule lay out for you? What do you think of your slate, particularly opening up with Army and Jeff Monken?
Yeah, I think, since the time that I've been here, I do think this is our toughest schedule we've had since being at FBS. With you include the new Sun Belt members, we're playing all 4 of them. And then with our non-conference, you mentioned Army. Army is obviously a tremendous program, and coach has done a fantastic job there. They've won multiple bowl games, been the commander-in-chief winners multiple years since he's been there. They're tough. They're really coached well. I think that's an exciting game. That's going to let us see where we're at. I think right away we've lost a lot of experience in our off of our team, and we're going to have some young guys, and be able to play a team of that caliber, have it at home starting off. Is it exciting for us, and to sort of see where we're at? But they're very challenging. But you got a Buffalo team that's also a MAC non-conference that supposedly, if you look at the rankings, had like the best recruiting class in G5. So, that's going to be a tough challenge. And then with their Sun Belt games, UVA, Gardner-Webb, FCS, it's a very good conference or a very good schedule. It's going to challenge us in a lot of ways. Fortunately for us, we do have 7 home games, so we are excited about that.
So there's one guy who really loves playing at home, and I want to talk about him, because he gets a lot of respect. He's been getting a lot of attention over the past couple of years. That's your quarterback, Grayson Mccall. He is a unbelievable thrower of the football. Man, what's your biggest takeaway from him and how he's been able to grow within this program, considering, everyone talks about the Heisman contenders, and yet he's a little bit further down here, but he's gained some respect at least. And what's been his progression over the past couple of years in this program?
Yeah, he's tremendous. Came on the scene in 20 and 2-star recruit. Nobody knew about him. And then all he's done is win. I think he's 20-2 as a starter. I think he's on 6 interceptions, 54 touchdowns over 2 years. And so from a statistic standpoint, from a winning standpoint, he deserves to be talked from a Heisman standpoint because of what he's been able to do on the field. The best thing that he has done, here is he's brought people with him. I think that's the sign of a great teammate, is somebody that has had success on their own, but they're willing to bring their teammates with him, and he's done that. on and off the field. And I think that's what people probably don't see a lot of, is the way that he's able to raise the game of everybody else around, around our program. And he's been tremendous. And we're obviously thankful that we have him, and he's continued to get better every year. And we're anticipating, his third year here starting being the best year that he's had.
One more on him, Coach. I mean, I feel like he is one of your biggest ambassadors for Coastal Carolina football. I mean, is that true? I mean, or am I making that up?
Well, he's obviously the most well-known, because of the success he has, but he loves Coastal, and he's very appreciative of, I think, the opportunity that was given to him. He wasn't, as I said, highly recruited, but he believed in himself, and he had a vision for what he could become. And coming here, he's been able to reach that, and probably not only reach it, probably knock it through the roof, and been able to put himself on a map where he's got an opportunity to continue playing this game at a high level, but obviously helped our program take steps that maybe other people didn't think we could, and so he's a great ambassador for what we're trying to do and who we're trying to be. And as again, he loves the place, and I think that speaks volumes of him.
So switching over to the defensive side of the ball, I saw you guys have to replace 9 starters from last year's squad. I mean, how do you recalibrate the defense, so to speak, to get back on last year's level and to make sure that side of the ball is as competitive as the offense when you're led by a star like Grayson Mccall?
Yeah, Nick, that's the big challenge that we're facing when you lose that much experience from a defense that's been really good. It's challenging, but I do think that we're going to have an opportunity this year to be a good defense. We might not have the names that we've had before, but I think we're going to have a lot of people that are hungry to play. And I think you're going to see us play a lot of different people on defense. We're going to rotate more than we've been able to do the last couple of years, because I do think we have some good depth. It's young, it's inexperienced, but there's a hunger. Through this summer, there's a hunger for those guys to. They know that they've lost a lot of starters, and people are doubting whether they're going to be good or not. But we're anticipating this potentially, at least statistically, maybe not individually, but at least statistically, could be potentially the best defense we've had in a while. So those guys are working, and they've got a chip on their shoulder to prove themselves.
So overall, Coach, and one more for you here. Out of all the G5 teams, you guys are near the top of that list. Yeah, if you're talking about all the teams within those Group of 5 conferences, you guys only shared that conference title a couple of years ago. Then last year fell short of a conference title. What makes you think that 2022 is the year to own this conference by yourselves come year's end, and then whatever bowl game you guys might play in? What makes 2022 the year for Coastal Carolina football?
Well, I would say that with the guys having the chance to prove themselves, what was done in the past, none of our players have done that, and it's their time to prove what they're worth. And I think there's a hunger. I think there's a desire there that most people expect us to drop off. And I think within this organization, with this program, there's a standard of how we do things. And that standard doesn't drop. And so I believe with the right people in place, obviously having key people back, and the hunger that these young guys have, I think we have a chance to have a special year.
No doubt. Head coach Jamey Chadwell. Coach, I really appreciate the time as always. Good luck this season. I really am looking forward to watching Coastal Carolina football this year, because you guys are very entertaining, very flashy, and also maybe a little hard notes too, which I like as well.
I appreciate you. Thank you very much.
All right, head coach Jamey Chadwell joining me on the College Football Daily. Really excited to watch them this season, this fall, be one of the best teams in the Group of 5. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe our YouTube channel and this video on YouTube. Of course, be sure to like, download, and subscribe to our podcast, wherever you might get your podcast as well, here on 24/7 Sports. I am Nick Kosko saying so long. Once again, you have been watching and listening to the College Football Daily.